No. I think the internet's down.
Hey everybody, how's it going? So sorry about that. We kind of lost track there. So we're just gonna start again. Hopefully everybody's safe, everybody's good. We really don't know what's going on. I don't know. We're having some issues with everything. I don't know what's the thing. Or everything's looking fine on our end. I'm looking at our Wi-Fi connection. It says strong, but everything else is just I don't know if it kind of not working right now. But we're gonna try to figure that out. So hopefully everybody's good, everybody's safe. So as I was saying, the Chargers finished 5-11. It's going to be new for them because for the first time after 17 years, Philip Rivers is no longer a Charger. He is now a Colt as he signed a 1-year deal, as he announced it, as the NFL announced it on their program, and then Rivers took it upon himself to go. I think it was on Instagram to announce that he was a Colt. He did announce that, so that's not a secret no more. Russell Okung did get traded. They made a trade with the Panthers to get Trey Turner. I say that 3 times fast, but Russell Okung did get traded to the Panthers in exchange for Trey Turner from the Panthers. So now they have Trey Turner. The Panthers got Russell Okung. Thomas Davis is now a Washington Redskin, joining his old coach when they drafted him, and Ron Rivera in Washington. Travis Benjamin is a 49er now. They just signed him today, I believe, for a 1-year deal. Derek Watt went to the Steelers, so that's another Watt brother on the Steelers squad. Melvin Gordon signed with the Broncos, as earlier stated that he just wanted to stay within the division. This was his words, and it's fine by me. It was his choice. He could have stayed, but he decided to go with the Broncos. So we'll see what happens now with them and Philip Lindsay. You know, that's a pretty dangerous running back combo right there. And then Brandon Mingveen, the defensive tackle, is now a free agent, possibly retiring only due to the fact that he's 35. He really didn't get a strong look in the free agency first wave. So maybe, if anything, he's either a late sign or maybe he signs somewhere after the draft. Somebody needs depth or somebody needs a plug in hole. We'll see. As for the Chargers, they were busy. They were active in free agency. They did get Brian Bulaga from the Packers. He's the right tackle now. They got Chris Harris um, from the Broncos, so that's kind of ironic that Melvin Gordon joins the Broncos, but Chris Harris joins the Chargers. It was an in-division swap, as people would like to say. So that was interesting. And then Linval Joseph from the Vikings joins the Chargers now, and I think it was a 2-year deal. Um, Overall, like I said, it's just a new wave for the Chargers. It's a new era for them. Anthony Lynn has a good position at number 6 to kind of rebuild this team from the bottom up again. Only due to the fact that you lost your quarterback in free agency, you lost your starting running back in free agency, you traded your starting left tackle in free agency. It's just they're gonna have to rebuild. It's gonna take some time, and we don't know what the plan is for Anthony Lynn going forward. They're pretty content from what he said about getting those 3 guys in free agency, the main ones at least. I'm pretty sure they're not done yet. But other than that, I mean, there's nothing much else to say. I mean, the Chargers a couple years ago, they lost in the playoffs to the Patriots, and they looked like they were the next team to kind of take over. On paper, they had a good defense and they had a good offense with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Melvin Gordon, Philip Rivers, and then Hunter Henry. He got franchise tag, so he's there for another year. We don't know what really happened. It's just now what happens now is, Henry stays. He got tagged. And now it's really all about what Anthony Lynn wants to do. What's the approach? And, I think the approach is, just rebuild, from, when you build a house, bottom up approach is you have to he really just has to focus on what the direction will be is, does he want to rush in and grab a new quarterback. You know, they're gonna play in a new stadium. Do they need a big name to fill those seats? Because as it was shown, there's really not a strong market for the Chargers here in Los Angeles. Which is it was hard from the get go. The Chargers moving to LA was a big mistake. They should have never moved. They had a good situation in San Diego. They loved them. The people living in San Diego, they love the Chargers out there, or they used to love the Chargers, and now they lost, that, fan base of up in San Diego. And when they moved to LA, it seemed like every time they would put the Chargers on TV, I would see, there was one game, I think it was the Packer game. It would look like a Packer home game. The Steelers were there on a Sunday night game, and it looked like a Steeler home game. There was a time, we went to the Raider game against the Chargers in LA, and it looked like a Raider home game. It felt literally in the parking lot like I was more in Oakland than I was in Los Angeles, which is, the few Charger fans that we did see, they weren't really comfortable in their own stadium because it's just, I don't know what the whole process of the NFL thinking that the Chargers were going to make it big in Los Angeles. We just don't know. But that was their call, not the fans or not anybody else. That was Roger Goodell's, and that was Kroenke's call, or not Kroenke's, Dean Spano's call to move the team from San Diego to Los Angeles. So they knew it was going to be rough, but they didn't expect it to be this rough. The new stadium is supposed to open this year, and it will open this year. Um, you know, it's just they're not. It's not selling. That's all I can say. Every home game for the Chargers in LA was just it didn't look good. And even when they were winning, it still didn't look good. Other opposing teams, would flock that stadium. It's hard, in my opinion, to be a professional football team in Los Angeles because we have so many distractions in Southern California. You know, the way I look at it is, people want to say, "Hey, do I want to spend $200 on a football game that me and my significant other can take, or can we use those $200 and go to the beach and have a nice dinner there or a nice time there? Or do you want to go to amusement parks? Go there. Do you want to catch a movie instead of going to the football game?" It's hard. It's a hard thing to sell when you're a team in Los Angeles. You have to understand LA is really a Lakers town. It's not a football town. Yeah, USC's cool, but excuse me. Even then, it's a hard sell because if they're not winning, nobody cares, and that's just how it is in Los Angeles. If you're not winning, nobody cares, and I've seen it plenty of times, when the Lakers are bad, yeah, they'll do okay, but it doesn't feel like Staples Center. I remember growing up when the Angels and Dodgers were doing terrible, nobody cared. Nobody really cared. And when USC was on a dominant run, yeah, it felt good. But then when they started losing and getting caught, and they got caught with a scandal, it just wasn't good. Nobody cared anymore. And that's the thing. LA is really not a sports town. It's a Lakers town, but above all else, if you're not winning in the LA area, nobody's gonna care. It's just the way it's always been. I guess even before I was born, I would have people that would watch the Rams in Orange County and Anaheim, and older folks, they would tell me they would go to Raider games. When they were losing, nobody really cared. Like they would only go because tickets were like $20, and that's like you can get like a good seat, which is a shame, really, because I know a lot of towns and I know a lot of cities and states would love a professional team. It's just LA's a big market, and they think they can make it work. Yeah, to this day, I don't see it. I don't. It's just what it is. But regardless, back to the Chargers. They went 5-11. They started off the first season with the win. Then it just seems they would never catch on. Then they would win one. lose again, lose a few in a row, win a couple in a row, and then the end of the year they would just go on a losing streak, and it was just bad. Philip Rivers did not look like Philip Rivers anymore. Um, Everything just happened for a reason. I believe it's not that Philip Rivers he's just getting older, and that's what happens. So they had to move on from there. They weren't comfortable giving him the money that he was demanding. The Colts were comfortable with it, but the Chargers were not. So that was their call. Melvin Gordon, they just after that holdout and he didn't perform. When you bet on yourself and you don't perform, then it's easier just to say see you later. Hunter Henry's still there. The defense is sort of okay. They still have Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. They got Casey Hayward at the corner. Derwin James is going to be back healthier. So I mean, on the defensive side, it seems like they're fine. They're going to be okay. Maybe they can add a couple pieces in the draft, or maybe they'll add another piece before the draft, or maybe they'll add pieces to the draft, and after the draft, we'll see. But the defensive side is fine. But with all that being said, it's really up to Anthony Lynn what he wants to do and what direction he wants to take his team. So, with that being said, it is now time to decide my prediction for the Chargers and who will they take in the 2020 NFL Draft with the sixth pick overall. Yeah, I know. Yeah, everybody loves that sound. We decided to put it on. We thought it was going to be kind of dorky, but people love it. So, I mean, they love it. But without further ado, with the sixth pick overall in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle, Iowa. I know this is going to be a big surprise when people do see this, and my buddy Roy is already, kind of letting me know, like, hey, I did tell him what I was probably going to do, and he told me why, and I gave him good reasons that I'm about to tell you. The quarterback situation is kind of a weird one because, as I mentioned earlier, you signed Brian Bulaga, you have Marquise Pouncey at center, and now you have Trey Turner, which is good, but you traded Russell Okung to get Trey Turner, which was, kind of the deal and swap. So now you have to fill that offensive tackle role. And Tristan Wirfs, out of all the players that participated in the combine, he was really the one that had to show he had to have a good combine. Like he had to have pretty much a near perfect combine in order for him to or to prove the doubters wrong that he should have gone back to senior year. I thought he was going to go back his senior year. He decided to forego it, and so he put his name in the draft pool, and now he's a junior. He's a redshirt junior. He should have. I thought he was going to go back. He decided to forego it. So then there was questions like, okay, well, he's a good player, but is he a guard? Do they switch him to right tackle? And those were the questions that they were heading into the combine. It's like, yeah, Tristan Wirfs is a good offensive lineman. We just really don't know, like his skill set. And anybody that saw any Iowa game, Tristan Wirfs, he really did do his thing. He really handled his business out there. And just to give you an idea who he is, Tristan Wirfs, an Iowa kid, he's 6'5", 320, arm length of 34, and hand size of 10 and a quarter. Now, as I stated previously, he needed to have a great combine, like perfect, damn near perfect, for him to prove the doubters wrong. Because a lot of people are saying, well, he's a guard, guard, right tackle, and after his combine performance, he really got himself out of that hole now. Like, oh man, so he really did prove his worth. And to give you an example, he ran the fastest 40 out of all the offensive linemen, 4.85. So that's good. The 10-yard split is it was a 1.7. And for those of you that may not know, an offensive lineman running a 40 is only a big deal the first 10 yards. And what we mean by that is you're never going to have an offensive lineman run 40 yards down the field. It's just no, like, that's, no way. So those first 10 yards, it really shows what kind of speed going forward he has. And, again, the 1.69 was one of the fastest. If, I think it was the fastest actually. So he ran the fastest 40, he had the fastest 10-yard split. Then he had a 24 bench press, which was in the top five for offensive linemen. He tied for that. He had the best vertical, 36 and a half. He had the best broad jump of any offensive lineman. He had the best of 10 inches, And what the broad jump explains is how's his acceleration, like how fast is he quick, like how strong is he against a push. And it was one of the best. He tied with, Colton Miller, who a couple of years ago had the same exact thing, and now that was the best since 2003 for an offensive lineman. The three cone drill, it was top five again, 7.6. And the three cone drill tests agility, so top five again, one of the best out there. And then 20-yard shuttle with the 4.7, and that was tied for seventh at all. So overall, he was damn near perfect almost all the way around, except for a couple of categories. But those numbers, what it showed is like, yeah, he does have the athletic ability to play left tackle. And that's the thing that he had to prove all the scouts, all the general managers, all the head coaches, everybody in that arena that, hey, I do have the athletic ability to be a left tackle. And I proved it with my numbers. So you're going to interview me as a left tackle. And I think he deserves a shot to play left tackle. Give him a shot. I mean, the numbers are there. He proved it and he deserves a shot at it. Now, another thing was he was 2019 second team, AP All American as voted by the coaches and American press. And for the all Big Ten, he was first team left tackle. So out of all the tackles in the left 10, he was the best in his conference, and he was a second teamer of all around all the kids, that played college last year. He was second team. And then, he was the fifth highest graded offensive lineman in passing and running combined of all, college football. And his career, 33 out of 35 games, that's pretty good. The only two he missed, one was due to injury and one was due to he was a freshman, so they didn't really think he was ready. But when that, other left tackle wasn't ready, he jumped in and he started ever since. So, with all that being said, I truly believe that the Chargers will go here. I know quarterback's an option, but they had Tyrod Taylor, and Tyrod Taylor is one of those forgotten folks, I guess you can say, because he started his time in Buffalo and he really did do good out there. He actually led them to their first playoff appearance a few years back, and I think he could be that stopgap, that bridge gap for a quarterback right now for the Chargers while they're rebuilding again. If all else fails, they can get a quarterback in the second if somebody's there that they really love. But I think right now you have to replace Russell Okung, which was kind of an important piece to your franchise moving forward. But when you traded him for Trey Turner, well, now you have to kind of find his replacement. And again, I'm not saying that Tristan Wirfs is the best offensive lineman available. What I believe is he fits what Anthony Lynn is trying to do for a team, which is, everybody just man up, offensive line just man up everywhere. And, that offensive line, really, even though they lost Russell Okung, like I said, if this were to come true, it would be Tristan Wirfs, Dan Feeney, Marcus Pouncey, Trey Turner, and Brian Bulaga, which is a really, well balanced offensive line. And, quarterback is an option, but I do believe right now, um, offensive line is probably what they're going to do. So that was my prediction. I'm sorry about earlier. I don't know what happened, losing you guys, but I think we got it all figured out. So we'll see what caught, what didn't catch, and then we'll try to edit it as much as we can. And I'm gonna see if any questions. No, not today. Yeah, I know we had a rough day today. It was a rough day, but it happens. We came through, and I appreciate you guys that subscribed. Mention anybody to subscribe to this video. To the ones that already did subscribe, I appreciate the support, and we will talk tomorrow. And on the clock tomorrow, I believe it is the Carolina Panthers, who actually just released Cam Newton today, and they traded Kyle Allen. So is this where the next quarterback falls in place? Well, we'll see tomorrow. So hopefully you guys tune in. Have a good night.